Good day, everyone. My name is Marian Shimada from the Board of Investments, and I will be presenting the Trade and Goods chapter under the Philippines EFTA Free Trade Agreement. Trade in Goods, or TIG, refers to the agreement reached between parties to achieve free flow of goods, reduce trade barriers, deepen economic linkages, and lower overall business costs. Trade in goods, or TIG, may be achieved through the reduction or elimination of tariffs on qualified products to increase market competitiveness, or the reduction or elimination of non-tariff measures to facilitate trade between parties concerned. Under the Philippines EFTA Trade in Goods, EFTA member states accorded duty-free market access to all industrial products from the Philippines. For an overview of the trading relations between EFTA and the Philippines, EFTA is the 9th largest trader in the world in terms of merchandise trade. In 2020, total Philippine exports to EFTA reached 239 million euros, while imports from EFTA amounted to 311 million euros. Top exports of the Philippines to EFTA include electronic integrated circuits, precision instruments, appliances, textiles and apparel, and plastics and rubber articles, among others. Meanwhile, top imports of the Philippines from EFTA include watches, electrical machinery, and chemical products for various applications. Under the Philippines EFTA FTA trade in goods, the Philippines agreed to provide all EFTA member states duty-free market access on most industrial products. These are based on different timelines for tariff elimination. While the Philippines EFTA FTA entered into force on June 1, 2018, the Philippines was only able to fully implement the tariff commitments beginning October 24, 2018. The Philippines EFTA FTA is set to be fully implemented by year 2027. The Implementing Executive Order, or EO, for the Philippines tariff commitments under the Philippines EFTA FTA is EO number 61 series of 2018, which modifies the rates of import duty on certain imported articles in order to implement the Philippine tariff commitments pursuant to the free trade agreement between the Philippines and the EFTA states. These are the articles under Chapter 2 of the agreement. These articles cover the elements of the Trade and Goods chapter, such as rules of origin, import and export duties, and trade facilitation, among the other provisions. Here are the key features of the Philippines EFTA Trade and Goods. First is tariff elimination for Philippine exports. Second is elimination of export duties. And the last one, which we wish to highlight, is the provision on trade facilitation, which essentially simplifies procedures for trade and goods and related services, promotes multilateral cooperation among parties, and encourages cooperation on trade facilitation within the mandate of the Subcommittee on Trade and Goods. Again, to highlight, upon entry into force of this agreement, the EFTA states shall eliminate all import duties and charges having equivalent effect to import duties on goods originating in the Philippines covered by this chapter. This is Article 2.3 under Chapter 2 of the agreement. This is an overview of the total bilateral trade and trade balance between EFTA and the Philippines, highlighting the same in 2019 and 2020 following the implementation of the agreement in 2018. Overall, from these tables, we can see that the balance of trade as well as total bilateral trade showed notable improvement following the implementation of the agreement. These are the top exports of the Philippines to EFTA from 2018 to 2020. We have electrical machinery under Chapter 85, machinery and mechanical appliances under Chapter 84, optical, medical, and surgical instruments under Chapter 90, knitted apparel and clothing accessories under Chapter 61, and woven apparel or clothing accessories under Chapter 62. We can highlight Philippine exports under chapters 85 and 84, given their positive average growth during the same period. Meanwhile, these are the top exports of EFTA to the Philippines for the same 3-year period. We have pharmaceutical products under Chapter 30, electrical machinery under Chapter 85, clocks and watches under Chapter 91, machinery and mechanical appliances under Chapter 84, and miscellaneous chemical products under Chapter 38. For this, we can highlight products under Chapters 85 and 38 for exhibiting positive average growth in this period. So this is an overview of the Philippines EFTA utilization for trade and goods, which as we can see is still low based on the total FTA utilized imports vis-a-vis the total FTA eligible imports of EFTA member states from the Philippines. The Philippines' low utilization reflects the minimal or lack of increase in exports to EFTA member states, noting that EFTA member states have increased exports to the Philippines succeeding the implementation of the FTA. Noting the similarities between the products being exported by the Philippines and other ASEAN member states to EFTA, the FTA improves the Philippines' position as EFTA's primary import source for these products in the region. Philippine exporters can take advantage of open access to a vast global network of preferential trade agreements outside the EU, as the EFTA currently comprises 25 agreements with 35 countries and territories. All in all, Philippine exporters to EFTA can look forward to maximizing trade and goods under the Philippines EFTA FTA with these features. First is Philippines as EFTA's primary import source in ASEAN. Second is broader market access opportunities given EFTA's wide trade network. And of course, exporter-friendly elements to encourage higher utilization of the FTA. Again, this has been the Board of Investments. Thank you very much and feel free to reach out for any questions or concerns.